I like to watch this from all angles. So when you're watching this, I want you to keep in the back of your mind, this is what Ty always talks about. Talk to the car dealer, right? So you're going to hear a lot about photos. Well, why do they need photos? Who needs Black Widow? How does this work? And what does it have to do with the transport guy, right? And you should start seeing, I don't want to get ahead of Jason and Joel and everybody else, but I do want to say, as this unfolds, as we start this dialogue back and forth, I want you to really pay attention to what the car dealer guy is saying. Okay, he's giving us clues all the time. Everything that these guys talk about is a clue for us to improve our level of service for the car dealer. Why? Because I love the car dealer. The car dealer, if I do a good job for him, he's going to keep paying me and he's going to keep calling me.
Jason is our next guest on Auto Transport Intel Tuesday nights live, and he's entering the room now.
Oh, hey, Jason.
I'm in the room.
Man, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you guys?
Ooh, been a long one for me.
Me too.
But I'm happy. I'm happy you're here too.
Oh yeah,
So this is Jason, you guys. This is the man. This is the guy that has the plan. And I like always asking him the simple. So tell us a little bit about detailing. You detailed cars?
Yep. So, yeah, that's where it all started. It started in my parents' garage. Smell after I was doing about 30 cars a day. So she kicked me out of the house, built a building, and continued to detail thousands of cars for dealers. And that's where it all started. So.
Well, that gives you a really good perspective, right? It's a good way to start in the auto business. That's kind of about almost as low as it goes, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they treat you pretty rough and beat you up pretty good, but you learn all the ins and outs and their pain points. And as time goes on, you tend to be their aspirin, right? So when you start taking away their headaches and figuring out the ins and outs of their world and the way they see it, well, then relationships are built, and then they tell their friends, and next thing you know, you got plenty of dealers realizing that starting cleaning something that is for sale, they got so many moving parts in the organization. If you take a few things off their plate, they tend to trust you, and then that's how you grow your business in the automotive world, which then leads to driving trucks and buying trucks and going to the auction and becoming a dealer yourself. It's addicting, right? So that's how I got started, and we made a lot of mistakes. Can't be afraid to make mistakes. You can't be afraid to fail, and that's how everything kind of evolves. You got to just keep pushing forward.
Right. Okay. So there's a lot of important pieces about detailing a car for a car dealer because they're kind of particular, right?
Just a little bit. Well, let's think about this. I mean, they'd ask me this all the time. Say, who writes your check, right? And it wasn't the dealer; it's the consumer. Okay, so the consumer is picky, right? So that's what makes the dealer picky. So, yes, the consumer wants their car perfectly clean. It's not just the dealer; it's coming from the consumer.
Yeah, and then from there, you said you ended up in the actual transport business. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, we were cleaning so many cars, the 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, and so we had to move them faster. So we decided to get in the trucking business. So logistically. Even though they were clean, they started telling me, the dealer started saying, look, I bought these cars from the auction and I hear them yelling at somebody can't get them fit quick enough. And I'm sitting there going, well, I could probably get them for you quicker. Right. So we bought trucks, right. Went to the Peterbilt dealership and I'm grinding gears and the guy's like, you know how to drive this thing? I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. Just grinding it out of the dealership, but we figured it out, right. We figured out how to drive those suckers and build trailers and the whole nine. So yeah. I solved that pain point for the dealer on the trucking side. So I bought my own truck.
Okay, so that's interesting because you shifted there, but I caught it, right? So you're detailing cars, which I'm going to go with. Some of those cars might actually be what we call wholesale cars because now the dealer wants you to take the car you cleaned to the auction. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yep. And I didn't want to come home with an empty sale, right? So I said, well, why don't I pick up the cars you bought today and take them right to the shop, detail them, photo them, and they'll be up on your site. Wow. So we got to go both ways, take it to them and bring it back.
Yeah, and the really cool part that I personally experienced, I think this is kind of what you're saying, is when you you meet that dealer's need. Like you said, and you said it perfect. It's when you start taking stuff off that dealer's plate, they start putting more on yours.
Yep.
And you saw that.
And the relationship is built from that. Yep.
Yeah, and that's why I tell guys, go talk to the car dealer, find out what his problem is, and see if you can fix that problem, or if you can just help that problem. So, okay, you started in detailing, then you started cleaning these wholesale cars. So it's wholesale cars primarily were the trade-ins. Is that what you were getting?
Yep, correct.
So they would send you, here's the trade-ins, go ahead and clean them. And then they would want them to come back to their lot for the transport guy to pick them up. He was always late. He couldn't get them to the auction on time.
Yeah.
So
Trucks only go so fast. They were yelling at me because the photo guy shows up on Wednesday at 3:00 after he's done, picking farm fresh eggs or something, So I was at the mercy of the photo guy showing up on Wednesday at 3, right? So then I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, what do we have to wait for him for? Like, who's he? Like, is he the owner of the dealership? What's his name? Oh, his name's Billy. Well, that ain't the name on the dealership, so why are we waiting for him? So then I had to get into something else. The detailing wasn't enough. The trucking wasn't enough. I had to get into the photos, and then it was like, well, I don't want a photo with hail damage or dents or scratches. And it's like, well, shit, then let's get the body shop fired up. So I did that for a decade. So.
Wow. And now I think also you actually are a dealer.
Yes, I am a dealer as well. Yep.
And so what does that look like? What does that sound like? How many?
For us, I think it was, we mainly deal with exotics and highline cars and stuff like that. So we weren't necessarily deep into it, but for us, we knew there was value in anybody that wanted a beautiful car with low miles, So that was where we really started dabbling with the pictures, but we knew that it wasn't scalable, taking pictures of Ferraris and all the exotics, right? So then we started to figure out, how do I get a perfect image with any user, right? We've built studios. We've done, $30,000 epoxy floors, and we invented turntables, and we got patents and trademarks and all the stuff that we did, but all those models are not scalable. They're very tough. So we made a lot of mistakes. We like to judge ourselves based on our failures and move forward, but the success is what comes from all the failures.
Okay, so now we're up to the Black Widow. So we start out as a detailer. We end up getting semis, car haulers, taking them to the auction. Then I think there was probably some relationships built at dropping cars off at the auction, picking cars up at the auction, right?
Yep.
What did that look like?
Yeah, so then you were seeing the same dealers there. Of course we had, fancy trucks. We like to build nice stuff. They like to see their stuff coming in, in nice vehicles. So yeah, a lot of relationships were built there. Then I learned a lot about the market and what cars could bring. And I'm a fixer, you know what I mean? And I saw the holes, So I pride myself in wearing the boots, ultimately I deal with lots of suits, but at the end of the day, you have to learn stuff firsthand. And by having the boots on in all those areas, I could solve problems, and just like a Lego, you can tear it apart and rebuild it again. So that's what we did until we got it right. So there's a lot to say about experience. We wore out a lot of shoes figuring this out for sure.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I used to get that same phone call from the dealer, from the auction.
Yeah.
I need you to pick the cars up on Monday. They got to be there Monday by noon. If they're not there by noon, the whole world blows apart because the sale's on Wednesday, and we got to get the pictures so that we can have them for the online sale, right?
Yeah. And I'll encourage all truckers as well. You got to be safe. You can never be pushed out of your comfort zone. And I think that's where we drew the line in the sand and said, you know what? There's a faster way to do this. There's a better way to ease this pain. And you hit a stumbling block when you start at 5 a.m. and at midnight you're parking your truck and you realize that you got to rest 8 hours before you're rolling again, right? So I'm sure DOT's probably 12 now, but we had to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what, we've given it our all. How do we get this picture, right, this car to everybody faster, right? And it's through a picture. But how do you get the picture done with something that you're relying on a third party person or somebody getting off at 5 o'clock? The world's going all the time, right? So we went from that and we said, you know what, if we could get the pictures to everybody fast, Well, that would ease everybody's pain and it'd make everything go faster. So, overnight success with 2 decades of a lot of pain.
So this line in the sand was this constant push to hurry up, right? Is that what I think I'm hearing?
Yes.
And it comes to
Faster,
this
faster. Yeah.
faster, faster, faster. Everybody wants it faster. So one of the things that has really caught my attention as a car hauler guy about this concept is the dealer, and I think you guys have a video of it too, but I call it the buyer. So the buyer's at the auction, he buys 30 cars, he calls the GM or the used car manager, hey, I got 30. The GM's, where are they? I'm ready for them. I need them. Let's go. I got the service ready. I got everything ready. Let's go. So you take over from here. What happens? How does this?
So the next call comes to the detailer, right? Hey, I got a load of cars. You got your guys ready, et cetera, right? You got and then the next call goes to the photo lady. Hey, I realize it's a holiday weekend and I realize that you're, got farm fresh eggs and you got to, pick up your cousin's brother or whatever, but I'm going to make sure all the cars are lined up and done by 4 o'clock so you can get them all pictured for the weekend. So that was the next payment. So, and then after that, that was it for their complaining on where's my car, right? Dude, where's my car? Right? So we've got my brother and then we got my stepbrother, Ngyugen Troung. So.
Hey,
What's going
Win.
on, guys?
Oh,
Everybody.
hey, Win. Hey, Joel.
Hey.
Okay, so Joel, what do you do?
I'm a general manager of a Poage Chevrolet in Wentzville, Missouri. So I'm a car dealer. Been doing this for 28 years.
So you're a Poage Chevrolet. You're in Wentzville, Missouri. That's
Yes,
up by
sir.
St. Louis.
Yes.
New car store. So you do Chevy and then
pre-owned.
And pre-owned. So pre-owns are used cars. And I've asked you this before, but I like this question. How many used cars do you have on the lot?
95 today.
95. And that's average, high, low?
That's low.
Low.
I'm about 40 low.
40 low. And you'd like to have 40 more, right?
Yes, I would.
But what's the problem?
Expensive and availability.
Here's my point is I'm not a car dealer, but I can tell you're in a really interesting predicament. Is that fair?
That's very fair.
So what is that predicament for you?
Getting the right vehicles at the right time and getting them online to sell. We better be focusing on that because that's what you need to be doing. That's your only focus.
How about on your new car side? Have you seen the dip in there yet?
Yes, it's actually they're starting to trickle in a little bit. We went probably a week or two with nothing, and then you got your employees are looking at you like, what's going on?
Okay, so the next question for you is I think, and I know you do, but you have Black Widow at your dealership.
Yes, in my service drive.
In your service drive. So explain why does a dealer need a Black Widow at the dealership and the service drive?
We want to be able to run our own cars. We don't want to rely on someone else coming in. He gets out of school and he comes in about 2 or 3 o'clock. By that time, I should have the pictures online. So with the Black Widow, with it being in my service drive, anybody in the dealership can run that car and have 4K images in seconds. And I don't have to train them other than hit a couple buttons, park the car straight. That's it. That's all they have to do. It's that easy.
Okay, so those cars that you're taking pictures of in the dealership are to put on your dealership website?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys spend a lot of time and a lot of money, right? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you spend a lot of money on this website.
Yeah, it's called advertising. Yes, we do. You want to ask me that, Bill?
Yeah, yeah, leave that one alone. I just like the electric bill. That makes me feel good.
Advertising's more, but anyways.
Yeah, I'm sure it is a lot more. And so there's been a big push in the last year. I mean, there's always been a push, but this last year has been a big push. So from your personal experience, how did you have to go and rebuild the whole dealer website to make it this and do? You were already there.
It was already there. The system was in our dealership. We just ran them quicker. So
and quicker. So what you're seeing with the Black Widow at your dealership, this is in the dealership side, is
It's my control. I have the control. There's nobody I'm relying on.
and it's fast.
And as a dealer, you look at it, you don't want anybody standing in your way to the customer. Obviously, the customer is who we're trying to serve. So if I can control that, that's a win. They stand out. There's no clutter in the background. They're consistent, same angles, same lighting. It works.
Okay. All right. So now why do we need one in the service lane?
Well, every dealership's different. With the Black Widow, you're not taking up a stall. I don't want to take a bay away. So what I use is my service drive. My service drive is busy, but there's always times throughout the day that customers aren't driving through there. When they're not there, I drive my cars to image them. So it's not costing me real estate. Real estate's expensive. So every stall that's empty or not being used is costing the dealer a lot of money. And right now, if you're not focusing on your fixed of your dealership, you're losing. So I'm glad that I don't have it in a bay. I have a mechanic in there.
What do you do?
I'm international, so I prep up everything internationally beyond our borders. So that's what
Wow. That's a big job.
It's not bad.
International. So you're setting Black Widow internationally? Is that what I hear?
Yeah, we're looking to grow Black Widow in Western Europe, hopefully in Asia at some point, Latin America, other places, setting up, basically be able to build the Black Widow from anywhere. So we can scale quickly and fast.
Wynn and I have traveled, in many different countries. And even though there was a language barrier, our photos are bilingual to anyone in the world with eyeballs, right? So it was very interesting. Even though there was a language barrier, our finished product speaks for itself, right? So we got data, we got words, right? But a picture's worth 1,000 words. So it was very interesting that why would I just help one country, right? Why would I just help 10,000 dealers, right?
That's powerful.
Everybody needs this, right? So I'm a fixer, right? So everybody's got the same issues. So, I mean, whether it be Henry Ford's assembly line, right? He didn't invent the car. I mean, he's a smart guy, right? But Carl Benz invented the car 50 years prior. But what Henry Ford did was he was a fixer, and he found a way to do it better. And now everybody in the globe copied that. Okay, so you see where I'm going with this. It's not just a hey, I gotta go make money. This is a problem I gotta fix globally. So if I've been called to do this and this is why I'm here, then I gotta fix it for everybody.